Alright guys, welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors. Today we're doing a little bit different video for you guys here. This is more of a question video for you guys. A true learning experience in my opinion for everyone out there. So as some of you may already know, I caught a fair amount of skunks this past season, and I decided as long as I had time on certain days, I actually put up skunks. I put up 20 this year. I didn't flesh every one of them the day I skinned them, and I had something happen to me the last 2 seasons now, and I can't figure out why it's happening. I have a couple theories myself, but I'm just wondering if the rest of the YouTube community here can help me out and maybe explain to me if what I think is going on is actually going on, or if you guys have run into this in the past, what have you done to fix it? So what I'm having an issue with is when I skin my skunks, I rinse them off in a solution of a 1/4 cup of baking soda, a jug of peroxide, just one of your smaller jugs of peroxide, and a good healthy squirt of dish soap. And then it makes a real heavy lather, and I lather them all down the best I can. Really working it in, especially around the butt area and the tail, because what it's doing is neutralizing the skunk smell. And then I just take a garden hose. We have naturally soft water here, so the hose isn't hard water by any means. It's really soft at times. So I just rinse them off the best I can, dunk them in a pail of clean water, just kind of keep squeegeeing the water out, shake them the best I can to get them as dry as I can. Then I just hang them and let them air dry while I finish skinning everything else that I plan on skinning that day, or fleshing or whatever. So they hang there until I'm basically done. They're still usually damp. They're not completely dry by the time I freeze them. I wish I had one that I could show you guys that was still raw and not put up. But what I basically was doing is I would try to line up like the back legs and the butt with the tail side, so there's no exposed fat in there. And then what I was doing is I was folding the head, so the nose was basically going to the crotch of the animal right by the base of the tail, and then I was folding the tail over the head because I didn't want like the lips and the head to like freeze dry. So that by folding the tail over, it kind of protects the head. And I do the same thing when I'm freezing raccoons. I try to protect the head and lips of the raccoon, because as they're unthawing, that will start to dry out, and it gets really, the nose especially gets really hard and crunchy, and it's hard to get it loosened back up when you're trying to use it, get on the fleshing beam and that type of stuff. So the reason why I was putting them that way is my theory was a year ago that by doing that, that would save me from having any fat touching the fur while they're froze, because I thought maybe that was somehow like oxidizing and creating the issue that I'm having. Because the year before I only skinned 5, last season, and I did exactly the same process, but they were still fairly wet, and I stuffed all 5 of them into one 2-gallon bag and then froze them that way. So they were a fairly thick, big block of fur, and it did take a little bit for them to unthaw that way. That's why I didn't do that this year. I was only putting this year 2 skunks in one bag, in a 2-gallon bag. So basically they're laying next to each other, so they weren't really touching each other, only along one side. All right, I'm gonna show you what I have going on here, and I'm just, like I said, I'm looking for some input from you guys. If you guys could tell me if you've ever had this happen to you, did you figure out what caused it, or how I can fix this? Short of putting them up the day I catch them is the only thing I can figure out to stop this, unless a couple of my other theories may be true, and I may try a couple things next year to hopefully stop this from happening. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up some pictures and maybe a few short video clips showing some of my skunks either still in the carcass or skinned and rinsed, you know, with the peroxide solution and all that. And like I said, I just hang them on some nails on the front of my garage while I'm skinning. I'm going to drop in a few video clips and pictures now so you guys can see kind of what these skunks would have looked like before they were put up. And as you can see, I got myself a skunk in here, which isn't ideal necessarily, but you know, another catch into the truck. So, and I guess this is kind of a double-edged sword. I'm happy to catch them in a 220 because I don't have to try and syringe pull and do all that out of a dog proof. All right, guys, so I got him dispatched here and out of my trap and stuff. I'm just getting ready to reset it here, but look at the stripes on that skunk. Like I said, that's probably by far the nicest one I've seen all year, so hopefully I gotta make $1 or $2 off of him. So these 4 are the 4 from today, and as you can see, they have all really nice white stripes. This one really has fat, big, wide white stripes, and has it like even down in the tail. This one here don't have hardly any white in his tail, and that one's got a little bit, but these 2 here look really nice. These are the 3 from yesterday. So this is the one that I just stashed. I brought it home today, and then these other 2. This one here is really big, but you can see like he doesn't have the best stripes. This one's has okay stripes. He's kind of balled up from being in the grocery bag all overnight. So I just set these 2 over here by this tree for the night, you know, and I didn't mess with them last night because it was late by the time I got home. But I'm gonna try and skin a few of them. Like, I'm actually tempted to almost skin every one of them. We're gonna suck the essence out of all 7 of these. And then we'll kind of make a decision. So one of these guys, this one here was the one that was first caught in the conibear bear. He smelled a little bit in the trap, but I'm not smelling him at all right now. And that one that I picked up from yesterday smells just a little bit. So I may not skin. I mean, this one here I really want to skin because he's really nice, but this one here looks kind of rough. He's just from being in the bag, and then he's got a few burrs stuck in him, but alright guys, so you can see in those pictures, most of my skunks are very white, or seem to be pretty white in those pictures in the video clips. But when I go to take them out of my freezer, they're looking like this. You can see how they got like a real orangey tint to them. You know, some of them are like that one. It's hard to really tell on camera here. But like that one, you can see how orangey it is. Some of like the bigger males will have a little bit of an orange tint, but they're nothing like what these ended up being. And part of what I'm thinking is the process I'm doing is apparently causing this. I'll show you exactly. I'm trying to get so you see. So I purposely weighed this one like I did, so you could see how orange that looks. But if I open this fur up, see how white it is underneath? So down by the actual hide, it is nice and bright white, and that's what that skunk would have probably been, you know, in the carcass. It only is staining. I'm getting this orange stain on the tips of the fur. This one here, it almost did the opposite. That's why it looks a little whiter. It's white on top, and if I open them up, you could see how orange it made it down there on the inside. So this one almost did the opposite effect. It's orange on the inside, but nice and white on the tips. Because if I get this kind of laid, I could cover that up and dang near cover up all that orange, just because the tips of the fur are nice and white out here, and then down here, you can see right here, then it turns orange. And this one here, this one's a little more orange all the way through. This one here kind of has that same, you know, it's white on the tips, but it turned really orange down in there. And if I open him up a little bit, it's actually quite a bit whiter down here. So it actually stained like the middle part of the fur. And this one here, it did just the tips again. So if I open him up, you can see how white that is down in the bottom and how orange it turned the tips of it. You know, I do have a few over here that some of these I may have put up the day I caught them, you know, so that might have made a difference. I did on a few of my skunks this year, towards the end of the season, I was actually trying to put some of them up while I was still running my line. The one day I skinned like 3 or 4, I don't even know how many, it was a few. So I had my lather mixture already made up. So once I scrubbed them all off, I thought, well, maybe I could get rid of this orange tinting by scrubbing them again. Because I had taken out, I think, like 5 or 6 that day to try and get put up, you know, so I could keep getting a few of them put up as long as I had boards empty. So I actually scrubbed some of these twice, and I feel like that helped take a little bit of off. So they were froze, I took them out, they were orange like this. I did run them through the peroxide solution again, and that did whiten them back up just a little bit, you know, took some of the orange off of them again. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the freezing of them is causing it. I'm just, like I said, I'm looking for some help. If you guys have ever run into this, here's my running solution or running idea as to what may be going on. This is the soap I've been using, and it's orange, you know, and this may be me just cheaping out. It is going to cost me some money, but I just bought the cheapest bottle of dish soap I could buy. You know, bought a big bottle. It was on sale even when I bought it. I didn't figure that the type of dish soap I'm using is going to make a difference. But I'm kind of suspicious that somehow the soap, I mean, like I said, I dunk these until basically I get no more suds back out of them, and keep rinsing them and like squeegeeing the water off, whipping them to get the, you know, to shake any water out of them. And then I let them drip dry. But like I said, I'm wondering if somehow my dish soap is causing them to stain. But I feel like that's too easy of a solution. That doesn't make sense. Like dish soap, yeah, it's orange and it smells citrus flavored. But I don't know how, unless it's something that's, or not citrus flavored, but citrus smelling. I'm wondering if somehow that is causing, something that's in my dish soap is causing this. I'm just wondering, like I said, if anybody out there has ever had an issue with this in the past, is it just the freezing of them that causes this? You know, just the oxidation of the fat while they're being froze that, you know, somehow is causing them to stain like that. The fact maybe that I'm freezing them in 2-gallon bags, is that causing it, you know, so they don't breathe? Like typically I don't put my fur in bags at all. I just stick, you know, my raccoons and everything else, as long as they're dry so they don't freeze to everything else, I just stick them, kind of stack them like cordwood essentially in my freezer here. You know, I use this little upright chest freezer, and basically I can stick 2 rows of raccoons in there, you know, one in the back, one in the front, and the raccoons are about the same width as that freezer. So you literally can just stack them in there like cordwood, as long as you don't catch too many at once, because you don't want to stack like 6 on top of each other, because then it takes forever for them to freeze all the way through. So you want to do just maybe 1 or 2 layers of them at a time, otherwise they won't freeze through very quickly, and you may end up with rotten spoilage even though they're in your freezer. So, but because the skunks are all wet, I don't know if I need to get them air dried before I freeze them then. But like I said, I'm worried about like the noses getting over dry, you know, because there's no fat on the nose, so they dry while the rest of it's still trying to drip off. I'm just, like I said, I'm wondering, would like to update my process to do something different to try and keep this from happening. And I only grabbed, like I said, I only got 5 here. These are the ones that I could show you the difference. I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know, how bright white this skunk was. You know, and that could have been a pretty high dollar skunk, because it's probably a 2XL skunk, but yet that my dish soap stained my, you know, you could see like in the tail is nice and white, so you could see how white that skunk would have been. But because I'm like I said, I called the dish soap, but something is staining my fur and I don't know how to fix it. You know, and once they're put up, I can't do anything about it, honestly. So I'm gonna ship these to FHA, the auction house, just like they are. I don't know. So please leave your comments down below if you've ever, you know, if you have any ideas for me what could be causing this. More importantly, ideas on what I can do to fix this. I hate to be putting up skunks, you know, it does take some extra effort. It takes a little extra cost because you got the peroxide and all that to get them put up, you know, and I don't want to be losing money on these things. They're nice fur. I feel like they're worth a fair amount, but not when they're getting stained like this. So, all right, that's all I got for you guys on this video. Like I said, down below, just please leave me some comments if you have any ideas on what I could be doing differently. For sure, next year I will not be using this dish soap. I'll be using like a Dawn dish soap or something that's not orange colored. Try and maybe even find just a clear dish soap if I can find it, or something that's not scented, or very little scent to it. And that's really the only thing I can really think of why this is doing it, other than maybe the fat being froze is oxidizing somehow and causing this to happen. But all right, I want to thank you guys for watching Schmattz Outdoors. I appreciate all the help. Like I said, I may not be the only one that has this issue, so you know, I don't know everything about trapping. I'll be the first to admit it, and I'm trying to educate everybody else here. So if you guys leave some comments down there, you may not be helping just me. You may be helping a lot of people, and that's what my channel is all about. I want to help as many people as I can, do the best they can when they're on the line, and also make the most money off their fur once they get it caught. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.